This roadshow is brought to you by ResearchBytes.com.
Thank you, Kedar. Thank you, Kedar, and good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to all of you. Let me try and take the next 30 minutes to walk you through a little bit about digital, our thoughts, and our thoughts on what it takes to win in this digital world, and what kind of investments that we have made, and what kind of outcomes have we seen, and where we are going from here. I think before I get into the presentation about TCS, a couple of words on digital. Digital is all about 3 or 4 things. It is about data, it is about real time, it is about connectedness, and it is about dematerialization. In the digital world, everything is dematerialized, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's manufacturing design, and what have you. The last 2 decades, we used to talk a lot about CRM systems, industrial automation, industrial robots, payroll systems, and so on and so forth. Now, in the digital world, we are talking about self-driven cars. We are talking about cloud infrastructure. We are talking about sensor-driven smart systems, and so on and so forth. What all this means is, once you have all this dematerialized, everything is software-driven. When we say everything is software-driven, we mean software has to be fully embedded in the business. And in the digital world, we want agility. If we want agility, we need a method by which we can get the software out there at the speed with which the business wants to launch products, wants to respond to customers. So that's why Agile becomes important, and that Agile is enabled by DevOps, and DevOps becomes important. My colleagues will talk about shift left, shift right, and all those things later on. But fundamentally, it is a software-driven world, and in that software-driven world, agility, business agility in particular, is very important, which is enabled by the methodologies of Agile and DevOps. And the digital world is all about data. And this data is coming from everywhere. And if you want to get hold of this data real time, you need to be hyper-connected. And things are hyper-connected, and it kind of feeds to each other. On the one hand, data is coming from everywhere. On the other hand, everything is hyper-connected. And you need a mechanism to be able to accurately capture and respond to this data real time. And finally, it is a world of experience. You know, if you go back in time, all of us grew up in a feature-rich world. Whenever we wanted to buy a product, we will always go to the shop and we look at the same product from 2 different brands, and we'll only be reading the cotton, which one had more features. And then look at the price tag, and then we'll say, hey, this has more features. Seldom we open the box. But now, from there we have moved on to experience. The reason we moved on to experience is because features is only one software release away. You take my Apple Watch. Since I bought, I didn't have to change the watch. But every software release I upgrade, I'm getting more features. If you're a runner, if you're an athlete, you get more features with every software release. And it is true in cars. It is true in every walk of life. And that's the world we are moving to. So dematerialization is key, data is key, real-time responsiveness is key, and hyper-connectedness is the nature of the world we live in. And now, if you look at the fundamental technologies behind this digital. You can never be definitive because it's evolving every day. But the core of these technologies, they all came up during the last few years at different points in time, close to each other. But each one of them had a profound impact, is having a profound impact, but the actual impact is when they all join together. Mobile without cloud had huge limitations. Cloud per se is of no use without a mobile device. And social media cannot make the impact without cloud. And social media will all be noise without the big data. And big data will be just voluminous without analytics. And the scale and size of the big data is so huge that without machine learning, and you are not going to get anywhere. It will still be a lot of data. So the collective power of these technologies, when they feed on each other, when they work with each other, present new possibilities. And not only that, they are giving rise to new technologies. And I call them composite forces. You can talk about Internet of Things, you can talk about 3D printing, you can talk about pervasive computing, you can talk about many, many new things. Anticipated computing. There are so many new jargons we will hear, but the point is the core is all these devices are getting connected. We are getting very comfortable working with robots. When I say robots, I don't mean the physical robots, I mean the software robots. And if you take in your world the trading, algorithmic trading is all algorithm driven. We're very comfortable asking directions in Google. But it's all software driven. And we are going to get more and more used to working with machine, software, algorithms, and robots as we are comfortable working with humans. Hardly we will know the difference. And that's the world in which we are going. And we developed a methodology. You see, you saw some of these things in the case studies you saw this morning. We work with our customers in building the future. If you want to live in the digital world, you've got to rethink all of this. You need to worry about your business model because your business model was built when this real-time connectivity was not there, the data was not there, and there was a lag. And you need to worry about products and services because you can create new types of products, new types of services. You need to worry about the customer segments because you could serve only a certain type of customer segments before. Now you can a lot more because the channels that you have today are very, very different. Business processes, sometimes re-looking at the business process, many times getting rid of the business process. Fundamental questions have to be asked. Do you need reconciliation in banks? Can we get rid of it completely as opposed to driving more efficiency through it? And workplaces. And if all of this is required, and this is what is happening around us, what do we have to do? We have seen many technological transformations in our time. If you look at it as a pure technology, it's much easier because one has gone through from mainframe era to client-server era to ERP era, from there to internet era, and so on. But in each one of these cases, it was a technological change. One came up with a capex requirement in order to change what was existing. But this is a different kind of change. It's a business change. It is not about changing the hardware and software. It is about getting a grip on the data, inside and outside, your data and your stakeholders' data. And what do you do with the data? And how do you build the capability to be real time? And if these two things are going to be very important, and what does it do to your business? And all the 6 things I talked about. And that's the transformation. And from a TCS perspective, TCS is in a much better position today. Because we are, for many customers, many companies around the globe, we are the partner of choice. So how do we work with them in taking advantage of these technologies? And how do we help them reinvent, reimagine, transform, and go to the future? And for that, a set of investments are necessary. I'm going to highlight a few. And the first thing is talent. Okay, talent is, I've always maintained, there are legacy technologies, there is no legacy people. And we recognize this and we created a digital learning platform. A platform which is an integrated ecosystem of content, of experience, of physical spaces, different kind of classrooms when you need it, and the ability to learn anywhere and any place, anytime, in any device. And when we said we will train about 100,000 employees before this fiscal year, we already crossed about 111,000 associates. And you can learn it the way you want. You learn the business, you learn the technology, you go deep. You don't go deep, you have a nano course, depending upon what you need, depending upon who you are, what role you perform. And we are on this journey. I think we've had incredible success, and we give a fantastic experience. We are marching on. I'm pretty sure that we will complete this whole exercise, but be ongoing, but most significant transformation will happen in 2016. And we have 400 plus different digital tools and platforms and skill sets that we train our people on. And this is required. That's another way by which the digital is very different. It's not about having one particular skill. You need certain skills, soft skills, certain design skills, but you need a lot of technological skills. And what do we bring? We have inherently a very strong domain skill. Because we work with leading companies in the leading industries, we understand our customers' business. When you saw today Target being spoken about, Walmart being spoken about, Home Depot being spoken about, Marks & Spencer being spoken about, we understand their businesses. When we spoke about healthcare companies, we speak about banks, we understand their business process, we understand their domain. And what do we do to those processes? What do we do to those systems with these technologies? And that's the skill sets that we educate. Second is a next generation delivery model. The next generation delivery model that we have has a lot of different things. Fundamentally, it has a different style of workspace, a very, very collaborative workspace because of Agile, because of DevOps. How can we be responsive? How can we ideate? How can we fall forward? How can we put the release out? But there are 4 or 5 things that we identified which underpins our next generation delivery. Later on, my colleagues will talk about it, but fundamentally, we're driving Agile across the company. We're driving automation across the company. We are driving Rio. Rio is very important because SLAs of 99.9 is no longer sufficient because the one time it fails for your customer and the system is down, a tweet will go on which can go viral. So it's so important. Rigor in operation is so important. Then digital everywhere. And finally, security. This is a very, very, very important aspect. So how do you embed in your people, in your systems, in your development methodologies, all of these aspects? We have been driving it for about 18 months. And you will see some of the statistics later on. The third one is intellectual property. We look at intellectual property in 3 ways. The first one is certain technology products. I mean, what we have given here is a sample, it's not a complete list. But if you look at the technology products, these are products that help our teams and our customers for different functions. Then we launched Ignio, which is our flagship automation product, which is seeing tremendous recognition from customers. Later on, Harik will talk to you. The second type of intellectual property is properties that are common across industries. And these are cloud platforms, digital cloud platforms, which we take to market, each one of them, and more. Third type of products is our vertical products, which are solutions in different spaces, whether it's in banking, whether it's in education, whether it is in advanced drug discovery, whether it's in retail, omni-store, or telecom. And many of these platforms are launched. Some of the platforms already gaining scale. The one platform which is almost nearing $100 million a year. The others are 10 million, 20 million, 15 million. They all have customers, and all of them will scale. Then the fourth is the access to the startup ecosystem. We have been running our co-innovation network for a long time. Our startup ecosystem, any point in time, scans companies, startups. We have 1,400 of them in our list at this point in time. And then we have a funnel, and then once we have an idea about which one will make a big impact, we engage with them, we embed them in our solutions. Sometimes we work with the customer to build a solution. But we have got a very strong connection to the startup world. Then our own research and innovation. It has got two types of research. One is a foundational research, which is a core team of R&D does, and they are focused on metagenomics. They are focused on materials. They are focused on design thinking. They are focused on machine learning. They are focused on cognitive computing. And we have industry-specific innovation going on, frictionless access, you saw that today, blockchain, retail, manufacturing, life sciences, energy, each one of those verticals. So we are focused on both of these. I think these are the type of investments which bring everything that happens in the world together in order to make the world better, make our customers reimagine and go to the future. Then the co-innovation workspaces. You saw one of them today. Today, the place you saw is a place where we not only share our experiences, not only we share our innovations. This has separate spaces which we couldn't obviously cover, which are workspaces with our customers. And we have design studios in Santa Clara. Where we have garages, we have people with different kinds. If you go to the studio, you find people with completely disparate backgrounds. If you see a team in a studio, team 1 will have, let's say, 15 people. No 2 person will be the same. They are diverse in every aspect. Some are with design skills, some are with technology skills, some have an engineering background, some have a liberal arts background, some have artistic background, somebody is from Colombia, somebody is from New York, somebody is from China. Doesn't matter. We have built those so that along with our core client teams and domain teams and with customers, the space has been created so that they can create solutions for solving customer problems or industry problems. And now, moving on to outcomes. I want to share a few data points. If you look at our digital revenue has scaled to $2 billion. It's about 13% in CY15. If you look at the consumer-facing verticals, there is a very fast adoption. Media, the most disrupted due to digital technology, is accelerating fast. Retail, high-tech, travel, including financial services, they are all growing very fast. And somebody asked me today how fast it will take. I said, you will stop asking these questions after you write 3 or 4 more reports, assuming that some of you write only 4 or 5 reports a year. And already 52% of our customers are partnering with TCS as the prime digital partner. And not that the remaining 48 will take time. It will all happen very, very fast, rapid. Because somebody asked me again this afternoon, how do you see this adoption? This has to happen. This is happening very fast. But every company will not move at the same pace because the ecosystem is different, their financial situation is different, their conditions are different, all the banks are not the same. All the insurance companies are not the same. So the adoption time will take time. Then you look at, I just gave this chart, look at just 3 areas. Take analytics and insights. It's growing at 10% CQGR. You take cloud, it's growing at 12% CQGR. Mobility and channels, digital marketing, that's growing very rapidly too, at 8% CQGR. So this is to just give you the pace at which things are moving. Then you look at our analyst reports. I think we have come a long way. This is the snapshot of how many reports in which we figured in 2009. And this is a snapshot on the number of reports in which we figure today. Sorry, I think 1 minute is going here in this slide. Okay. So I think, most significant number of reports, especially if you look at the digital reports, I think last year, of the reports that came out, we were 75% of them were leaders and 25% of them we were strong players. So I think, what we are doing, market is validating that. Then you look at the customer traction. This is very important, very important. I think for me, this is a very important chart because we work with customers and we bring our full capabilities so that we can make an impact in the process, we can grow. Our relationships are continuously getting tighter and richer and stronger with these customers. And we added 9 customers into the 100 million category, which is actually the number of customers totally we had in CY10. And we have a lot of headroom with all these customers. Then you look at this is a very good chart. If you look at our employee productivity, on the left-hand side, what you are seeing is our revenue per person, which was $43,074 in CY11, is about $47,110 in CY15. The right-hand side, what you see is our revenue per employee productivity on the incremental revenue basis. That is incremental revenue divided by incremental headcount on CC basis is growing very significantly. In the last 5 years, 5 years before, it was 61,000, and in the calendar year 2015, we are at 78,000 plus. And that's a very, very rapid movement. Then you look at our per capita value creation. It used to be about $9,524 4 years ago. And last calendar, it is $10,737. So whether you look at the revenue metric, revenue per person metric, or productivity metric, or you look at the net income metric, I think every investment that we are putting in, whether it is in digital, whether it is in automation, whether it is in agile, whether it is in regular operations, you see that playing out in terms of financial performance. Then you look at the year that went by. Actually, I don't know whether you got a chance to look at this before. It is a constant currency growth number for the last 12 months. Every vertical other than insurance and telecom, which were soft for us, has seen a fantastic growth on a year-on-year basis. People keep asking me, what is happening to BFS? And my response is, the same question has been asked since 2008. There is not a single year I have not had the question. But the fact of the matter is that banks and financial services have had one headwind or the other. But I believe the technology adoption is strong and the demand is quite strong. And BFS is 14.5, retail is 14.5, and manufacturing and life sciences and healthcare is about 20%. And all those industries are doing extremely well. And if you look at the future, And all of this translates to an incremental revenue in CC terms of over $2 billion for the calendar year 15. And this has been one of the worst years for cross currency for dollar terms. But otherwise, except insurance, which had a headwind in the sector as well as Diligenta additionally, and telecom and media. Media, because of the huge digital transformation it's happening, everyone else have delivered a fantastic growth. But let me move on to the next slide, which gives the quality of revenue and quality of execution. If you see the last 5 years, I thought I'll highlight the last 5 years and last year as distinct numbers. We had an incremental revenue on reported terms of $8.6 billion, and we had an incremental net income of $1.9 billion. And the marginal incremental is 20%, which is pretty much consistent with the margin with which we operate. Our net margin has remained the same. Our operating margin also has been in the same ballpark. And if you look at the CY15, again, we added about $1.2 billion after the cross currency, the reported dollar terms, and incremental net income of $249 million, and the incremental margin again at the same pace. So I always have said that you can continue to grow profitably. And we are focused on that, and you see that all the actions that we have taken playing out in the strong financial performance. It's really not forward-looking. So in summary, I think I would like to leave you with some thoughts. I've got about 3 or 4 minutes. So let me leave you with some thoughts. Digital is default, and it is accelerating. Every industry and every company in every industry will adopt digital. And if you take banking and financial services, or if you look at markets, whether it's North America or Europe, companies are adopting digital. And it will continue. Transformation is not an option. And you will see that playing out. I think from the TCS point of view, we have made a very comprehensive set of investments. We have looked at talent. We have given them the tools, the technology, the platforms that are required, which are cloud-based. If you look at everything that we are doing, we are adopting digital. We are following those same principles. You look at the executive briefing center we visited, everything is dematerialized. Everything is software. Everything is cloud. We can play the whole hog wherever it is. And we have made those investments. We have made the investments in thought leadership because we are partnering with clients, not in delivering the digital solution, in conceptualizing the digital solution in each one of those cases. And then we have made the investments in terms of building IP. Our position is always, we look at what outcome we need. The means could be organic, could be inorganic. But we will continue to pursue and put the full might of the organization to be able to bring to bear every single IP that we can bring and we need to bring. So we look at technology-based IP, we look at horizontal platforms, and we look at products or platforms which are industry-led. And we're investing in all these 3 areas. And if you look at our clients, we are partnering with key clients as their digital partner. And the partnerships may vary. Sometimes we start in big data, sometimes we may start in mobile, it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, it is about what those 6 things look like. What does this business process look like? What does this channel look like? What other channels are required? Is there a new product? Is there a better delivery of that product? And those are the questions that we work with customers. And our core portfolio is doing incredibly well. As I showed you in the previous slide, except the insurance and telecom, almost 85% of the business, the least growth rate is 14.5% CC. And our Diligenta headwind will be behind us after this quarter. And I think these two sectors will do a lot better this year than they did last year. I think we are extremely well positioned to lead in this digital world. Thank you so much.